Hi guys, Larissa with Becozy.net is here. Today I have a couple good news to share with you. First of all, we received this beautiful Chenille yarn in skeins, and these skeins are actually 300 grams or 10 ounces. They are 20% bigger than our usual 250 or 8 ounces Chenille, and it actually really good because you will need less of this yarn to make the same size of the blanket. So this is rose taupe color. We have 5 colors with 10 ounces or 300 grams weight. So we have rose taupe, we have ivory, then we have black, and 2 more will be beautiful purple and teal. So there's 5 colors, 10 ounces each, and it means that you will need, as I said, less of this yarn to make the same size of the blanket. And today I will be showing you how to make this blanket in basket weave pattern. I showed it before, but I was showing it with the yarn that is 8 ounces, and we were using 4 skeins. This one will be made with 3 skeins because this yarn is 2 ounces more, so on 3 skeins it will give you almost half a pound more. So this beautiful blanket is made with 3 skeins of chunky Chenille 10 ounces. This is the size 30 by 50. It's lap throw. It's not a big blanket, it's a small lap throw, enough to cover your feet when you're sitting on the couch watching TV. Another exciting news, guys, we just received samples of our super chunky Chenille, or we will be calling it jumbo Chenille yarn, because it's very, very thick. It's much thicker than our regular yarn. And to compare, I can show you this pink color regular chunky Chenille yarn, and to compare with this beautiful pink color super chunky or jumbo yarn. Here is the difference. You can see that it's much thicker, it's much fluffier, it's of course much softer. So it's really beautiful yarn. You will not find anything like that anywhere in United States, because this jumbo Chenille yarn was made as a custom order for Becozy.net only. It's really nice, squishy and soft. So we will have it for sale in about a week, and then of course I will show you how to make beautiful products with this yarn. And it will be in 250 grams or 8 ounces skeins or balls. Anyway, for now I will be showing you how to make this beautiful basket weave lap throw 30 by 50. Again, you will need 3 skeins for this color. It will be rose taupe, 3 skeins like that, 10 ounces skeins, and it's on our website Becozy.net. And if you're ready, let's get started. Okay guys, let's get started. So put the yarn in front of you with the tail on the left and working yarn on the right. Now make a loop like that. You are throwing the working yarn on the top of the tail, and you have this loop. Insert your hand, grab working yarn and pull it out. So this is your first stitch, and you can make it bigger or smaller by pulling the working yarn. We will keep it about 2 inches. Now we will be making a chain of 16 stitches, and we will be doing it by inserting our hand inside the first stitch, grabbing working yarn and pull it out. This is your second stitch. Now keep doing the same way. Insert your hand, grab working yarn, pull it out. You can do it by using your left or right hand. You can do it with one hand, with the right one. grab working yarn and pull it out, or you can do it with your left hand, inserting it, grabbing working yarn and pull it out. Any way it's comfortable for you to make the chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we need 8, 9, we need 16, 10, 11. Don't worry if the chain will be a little bit, stitches on the chain will be a little bit bigger, because this way actually the blanket will be nicer on the bottom, not too tight. Okay, so now let's calculate our stitches. To calculate, you are calculating by holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we need 16. So 15 and 16. Now we have 16 stitches chain. What we're doing now, we are turning chain on another side, like that. Flip it over. When you flipped it over, you will see that now we will be you see all these knots in the middle of the chain, and this is the knots that we will be using to make our first row. So first of all, you're throwing the working yarn in the direction where we will be knitting, to the left, and you are leaving the first stitch, and then you're grabbing the first knot that you can see, and you're inserting your hand underneath, grabbing working yarn and pull it out. This is your first stitch of the first row, actually second, because we're not knitting the first one. See those knots? That's what we're using. Lift it, insert your fingers or a hand, grab working yarn, pull it out. Keep doing it this way. Keep pulling out all the stitches until you have all 16 stitches out. As you can see, we're using this beautiful taupe color. It has a little bit of pink or lavender hue. That's why we call it rose taupe. It's very neutral color. It can be used basically in any colors of the room, with any colors, because it's neutral, and it actually looks really beautiful in any color combination. So now we have 16 stitches. This is our chain with 16 stitches. The reason why we turned the first row or chain to another side, to have this beautiful chain on the bottom. Now we will be knitting to the right, so working yarn goes to the right. So what we're doing now, first 3 stitches will be knitted. You insert your hand in the first stitch, grab working yarn, or use your right hand to pull it through and pull it out. The same with the second stitch. Insert your hand, grab working yarn, pull it out. And the third one, so you can see we just knitted 3 stitches, and this will be the beginning of the pattern. And next 3 we will be purling. To purl, the working yarn goes not on the back but on the front of the knitting project, and then you are taking the working yarn and pushing it through the stitch. This is your purl stitch. You see the difference? This is the knitted one, it looks like a chain. This is purl one, it looks like a knot in the middle. The same with 2 more. Take working yarn, pull it through the stitch. Take working yarn, pull it through the stitch, and you have 3 purled stitches. Now we're making 3 knitted again. Working yarn on the back, insert your hand, grab working yarn, pull it out, and do the same for 3 more stitches. Now you can see that we have 3 knitted, 3 purled, and it's very obvious which one was made. And we're doing the same to the all stitches up to the end of the row. So now we're doing 3 purled. Grab working yarn, grab a stitch, working yarn, push it through, hold the stitch,
push the working yarn through. This is your purl stitch. And the same with the third one. 1, 2, 3. Now we're knitting 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And the last one, just knit 2. Now we are on the second row of a pattern, or third row of knitting, and we are not knitting the first one. You're just keeping it hanging here. Working yarn goes on the left because we're now knitting to the left. You can see 3 stitches that were knitted, so we're knitting them again because you will need to make 3 by 3 basket weave. So it means 3 stitches for 3 rows, and then we will switch. So this was first row was knitted. Now we're doing the second row was knitted 3 stitches. Insert your hand, grab working yarn, pull it out. Insert, grab, pull it out. That will be your next row, 3 knitted stitches. Now we're making 3 purled one because we have 3 purled one here, and we will need 3 rows like that. Grab a stitch, grab working yarn with another hand, and push it through. Push it through, push it through. The same with next 3. You are knitting next 3. It's easy to see which one to do, which one need to be knitted or purling, because this knot's showing you that those needs to be purled. And for purling, we're taking a stitch and pushing the working yarn through. And we're doing it for the whole row of stitches. The tension, people are asking how tight they should knit. You know, it's a very personal, basically. It's really up to you. So now when we are at the beginning of the next row, I usually skip knitting the first stitch. It gives us a beautiful chain like that on the side. So you're leaving the stitch and you start knitting third row. 1, 2, 3. This is the third row of the same kind of stitches. Knitted are knitted, purled are gonna be purled. So we're knitting 1 and 2 and keeping this one just hanging there, and then we are purling 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 those knots. Pay attention that you wouldn't miss and wouldn't purl those that were knitted. So doing the same to all stitches in a row. And coming back to my comment about how tight you would like or you should knit, it's absolutely up to you. A lot of people like really tight knitting, and that's fine. It looks beautiful. It will be a little bit harder blanket than if you're knitting a little bit looser, like this way I'm knitting now. It's a little bit on the looser side, but when you're knitting a little bit looser, you have 2 good advantages to my mind. First of all, it's much softer, it's lighter, and also it requires less yarn. If you're knitting tighter, you will use at least 1 more skein. So it's absolutely up to you what you like. Now we made 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See those knots? 1, 2, 3. That's how you see how many rows you made. Now we are again skipping the first stitch as always, but now this 3 knitted will become 3 purled. That's how pattern basket weave works or looks. So you're grabbing a stitch and pushing the working yarn through, and 3 knitted stitches become 3 purled. Here you go, you see it, right? 1, 2, 3, and now 1 purled. This 3 purled will become 3 knitted. Grabbing working yarn and on the back and pulling it out. The same for the next 3 purled becomes 3 knitted. now 3 knitted, we will, I mean 3 purled, we will knit 1, 2, 3, and the last 3 stitches 1, 2, and 3. So when we have when we're knitting, I usually skip the first stitch. When we're purling, I do not skip the first stitch. And to make it easier, in this pattern, you can just knit the first stitch. It's absolutely fine. The only thing that I'm doing differently with this, I'm not knitting it the way it's laying. I'm kind of twisting it a little bit and then purling it like that. This way there won't be a hole on the side. And again, in any pattern, including this, you can skip knitting or purling the first stitch. It will be absolutely fine. It will look beautiful on the back, I mean on the side. Or you, in this particular pattern, you can actually knit all stitches, including the first one. I hope I didn't make you too confused. So I basically showed you both variants. The first couple rows I skipped the first stitch, and now I will show you that you can actually knit the first stitch or purl it, depending how stitches are laying. Like here, it's a good example because we have 16 stitches and 3 knitted, 3 purled, so one will be always here extra. We are knitting as a last stitch, then we're skipping knitting when it's first, and this way you can see the beautiful chain on the side. So now, how to see how many stitches you need to purl, I mean how many rows, or to knit. See those bumps? So this is your stitch, 1 bump and 2 bump. You're not counting this in the middle of the stitch, you're counting bumps under the stitch. This is the stitch 1, 2. So you purled 2 rows. It means that you need to make 1 more row the same purled stitches, because we are making 3 by 3 basket weave. See, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And next row we will switch again. Here's the same. You see 1 and 2, 1, 2, 2 rows were knitted, so we're knitting the 3rd row 2, and then we are purling 3 and keep doing it until the end of this row. This yarn is really soft and nice. It's very beautiful, and the good part that, as I mentioned, this is 300 grams or 10 ounces, so you will need a little bit less of it than 8 ounces. So now we are done with our 3 rows. Now we're switching again, and again I'm a little bit twisting the yarn. I think it's looking better this way. But now purled stitch will become knitted. Insert your hand, grab working yarn and pull it out. And then the same with the next. So that's what we will be doing using all our yarn. We will be knitting 3, purling 3, and after 3 rows we will be switching purled to knitted and knitting to purled. This is basket weave pattern. It looks really beautiful, especially if the blanket knitted tighter. This pattern looks more beautiful on the tighter, but you can see already that this blanket forming and look pretty nice. So we will be doing it until we're done with all our yarn, but I will come back when I am done with this first ball of chenille yarn, taupe, rose taupe color, and I will show you how I connect chenille yarn. Chenille yarn is a little bit tricky, at this point because it has a string inside that holds all these fibers on the top of it, that makes it so soft and beautiful. And sometimes it can be unraveling. And in order for to prevent this unraveling, what you need to do, you need to connect it in a very special way, or in a special way. And I showed it in a couple of my videos before, and I will show it again when I'm done with this ball. Again, so you see we are on the end, and you can either knit this stitch or you can skip knitting. So let's show you for you knitting. You just insert in your hand, grab working yarn, pull it out. So if you want to do it this way, or if you're doing it this way, the blanket will be a little bit curvy on this side. It will not have this beautiful chain, but it will be still pretty nice looking. Anyway, I will be back when I'm done with this ball. Okay guys, so we are to the end of one skein, and now I will show you how to connect it. I showed it many times, but it's always good to see it again. So you're taking two ends and you're making a very simple knot. Try not to make it on the very end because it will start unraveling. No matter how good quality of the yarn, it may start unraveling because that's, as I explained you, there is a string inside. You can feel it if you press the chenille yarn, and all these fluffy fibers, they are attached to the string. That's what holding it together. So here nothing holds it together. That's why it can easily start unraveling. So take two ends, about an inch at least from the end, and then make a simple knot, and try not to touch those ends to prevent unraveling. Work with the yarn, not touching the ends. So then pull gently couple times this knot, make it really tight. Grab scissors and cut these tails pretty close to the knot, like that. When you cut, you need to pull and check if you tighten it, make it tight enough. See, I'm pulling and this knot is holding really nicely. This is what you need to do. And all these fluffy parts you need to cut off close to the knot, and that's the right way to connect it. This knot will not be visible, and it will not be unraveling. The blanket will not be unraveling when you later will wash it. If you don't do it this way, if you don't make sure that by pulling that it's tight enough, later the blanket can unravel, either when you're using it or when you're washing it. So make sure that you not just make a knot, you secure it and you made it really tight, and you checked how tight it is. So now we will keep knitting the same way as I showed you. 3 purled stitches for 3 rows, and then 3 knitted on the top, so switching between 3 and 3. Okay guys, we are done with almost all yarn, and now, as I showed you before, keep some yarn for casting off. So from the side of the last row, measure all the way to the end, and then back, and then at least half of the project more. So 2.5 lengths should lie here ready for casting on. If you don't have enough, you will need to keep more than that. Like I'm keeping more than that because I had less than 2.5 and it wasn't enough for casting off. So for casting off, working yarn is going direction when we're knitting. Casting off can happen from this side, from right to the left, or from left to the right. It will be completely the same. What you're doing to cast off, you're taking one stitch, add another there on your fingers, grab working yarn and pull it through. Now you have one stitch on your fingers instead of two. Add another one, grab working yarn, pull it through. You have one stitch again, add another, grab working yarn, pull it through. You see this beautiful chain on the top? That's how you're casting off all your stitches. 2 stitches make one left, add another, knit them together. You have one, add another, knit them together. Knitting the same way as we always knit, grab working yarn and pull it through. This way you're going through all stitches and you are reducing the number of the stitches all the way to just one stitch, which we are approaching, and we will have just one stitch left. So last 2 stitches knit together and you have just one left and a beautiful chain here of cast off yarn. So now take the tail and pull it through this last stitch and then gently pull, and you have your blanket finished. Make a knot on the end of chenille on the last stitch or on the end. Cut it that it would be just a knot without a tail hanging, and then you can weave it in or hide it on the back like that, so it's fluffy and not really noticeable. So your blanket is ready. Now find the other end and do the same. Make a knot. Don't touch the end when you're making a knot. You can do it closer to the blanket, just not closer to the end. Make a knot, make it tight, and then cut the tail close to the knot. You're done. Now weave it in, go underneath any of these stitches and hide it that it will not be seen, like that. So your beautiful blanket is ready. You can see it. It's a basket weave pattern. You can find this chenille yarn and other colors at becozy.net. So stay comfy and be cozy.